Hi, I'm Stan Valentine and I'll be running you through the Quarry Park Open Sunday layout in Leamington Spa in Warwickshire. Tournament directors will be Paul Donnelly and Dom Hudson, and the preview is filmed and edited by Bubba from Ace Disc Golf. Let's get into it. So here's your opening hole. It's a par 4 with OB running all along the stream line as you see up from your right along from the pond onwards. It's 430 feet. Your landing area is just out past these two trees on your right. It gives you a nice view into the bottleneck green. There's also an OB stream running all the way down the left and an OB road long, which makes the approach plenty to think about for your first hole around. Hole 2 demands a straight 100-metre, probably fairway driver to distance driver, depending on your arm. There's a OB car park to the left, as you see out there. That'll be marked up for the tournament. You kind of want to carry something out into the space on the right and have it crash in, but you're always kind of running the roulette wheel a little bit with these 3 guardian bushes and 2 guardian trees near the green. You'll also see Derek Robbins' statue out there on the left. So we've come to hole 3. This should be a lefty stream. However, you do have OB running the whole way along the left and long of the basket. We'll have the same OB line of the fence carrying on past the fence, which is something we've done new this year. It demands, again, a 100-metre straight shot, but ideally something overstable that breaks off to the right. It's really tough to get the distance and carry it under the ceiling here. Hole 4 is the first hole that defines the Sunday layout. It's a wide open hole, all open to the elements. You've got really tight OB following it the whole way up to the basket. Anything that can fight the wind and get down to the bottom of the fairway will be great. It'll leave you for a pretty simple looking approach. However, the cambered green and the possibility of the wind makes this approach much trickier than it looks. God help us when those trees grow up. Hole 5 on this layout is the iconic Crow's Nest hole. The lefties are absolutely loving it. They're smashing a big wide hyzer over the water. However, righties have got a lot more to contend with. Either crash it in through the trees on the right or try and throw something straight. You've really got to trust your disc on this hole. It's iconic, but it's got teeth. Good luck. Hole 6 is a technical S-curve par 3. You've got really thick woods on the left. You've got an OB stream and OB fairway to the right of that stream. Any shot shaping this fairway is going to do you great. However, you can bail out right for the 3. Any shot that does get close to the green isn't even left with a particularly easy putt because you're going uphill to this basket and you're risking the roll away. A 2 on here is brilliant. Hole 7 is Dell's hole again. You've got really thick trees right, really thick trees left. There's a bit of a low ceiling, and you just want to take your favourite mid-range or putter and throw it as straight as possible. You've got an OB river long, but that shouldn't come into play. This is a good chance for a birdie, but you'll see plenty of bogeys too. Hole 8's a really tight wooded par 3 that breaks to the left through the second gap. You want to take a stable to overstable backhand and get it pushing through this first gap as hard as you can. Ideally, if you can miss these bushes over here, you've still got a lot of trees to contend with. Anything inside circle 2 is great here, and if you can get a bit of ground play, you might just sneak into circle 1. Everyone's taking a 3 here. This hole's really, really tough. Hole 9's a pretty attackable par 4. If you feel comfortable with your straight shot, you can just throw something straight down this really tight gap. However, if you do miss, there's really thick trees left and right, and there is a late Mando right, meaning you can't bail out too far into the open space. From here, which is the landing zone, you've got a pretty easy upshot into a couple of half gaps. However, if you do find the green, you still might be obstructed. If you've played hole 10 at Quarry Park before, you know how tough it is. A really low ceiling and a really daunting River Avon on the left makes for a really tricky shot. You want to flip something up into this gap and keep it carrying straight. If not, you throw a putter down here and you try and play for the 3, although that's easier said than done. It's a really technical approach. All in all, it makes for a really tricky hole down this stretch. Hole 11 plays straight uphill and then breaks slightly to the right to an uphill basket. You've got OB all the way along the left, and a stalling left-hand backhand or stalling right-hand forehand is your best bet here. If you're not really close, it's a pretty scary putt to run, and you could just as easily get a roll away as you could on the layup and running it. It's a really tough green, and making a 2 here feels amazing. Hole 12 is the perfect test for a power backhand hyzer. You've got OB on the fence line all up the left and thick trees all down the right. The pole of the fairway also cambers down to the right, and so anything that does catch edge is going to find its way into those trees. You can find a putt on circle's edge, you're going to be absolutely chuffed. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a pretty tricky scramble for your 3. Best of luck. Hole 13 on this layout is the right-hand roller hole. You want to avoid the OB running adjacent to the last hole's fairway. You've also got the OB protecting the tee up on the right from the next hole. There's also OB long, denoted by the fence line, so anything errant here is really going to struggle. If you can make a 3 here, you're probably sitting pretty. Hole 14 is a fairly wide open hole, however there is a low ceiling off the tee. The fairway slowly drops away from you, so you can throw a little less speed off the tee than you might first think you need to. And whilst there is a lot of airspace, when you get down to the green and find you aren't absolutely parked, you've got a really scary green. There's a big drop off on the back, so any putt's going to make your knees knock. Hole 15 plays as a giant island hole par 4. You've got the island coming from the stream on the right up to the fence on the left. The ideal landing zone is to the right of these trees you see here in the centre, and from there you've got a pretty touchy approach into the green. It all breaks towards the river, which is of course OB, and if you can try and match the slope, you've got a good chance of sticking the green for your 3. Hole 16 is an absolute slog. This par 5 will see you try and navigate an early Mando denoted by the 3 trees on the right. They'll have a drop zone next to it. Anything early OB right of that Mando will proceed to that drop zone. You've got OB running all the way down the left from the tee onwards, and it will be later denoted by the fence as you get down the fairway. From there you'll find a short course tee, and just beyond that there are 2 bunkers. Those bunkers denote where the OB ends and the hazard starts. From there you've got about another 100 feet, and then you reach a donut green which will be roped off. Anything outside those ropes is hazard. Hole 17 is a birdie that only the best in the field are going to get. It plays every bit of the distance that it says on the caddy book and that much more. It's a really, really tight technical shot. Anything you can throw as far as you can that flips up and holds through this gap is going to serve you best. There's no OB over the back this year because we've got camping in the main field, so you at least don't have to worry about that. That doesn't make this hole much easier though. We've really tried to make the 18th hole exciting this year, and so we've put in some OB just past the fir tree out on the right, coming across on a diagonal all the way down towards the green, and it runs about 40 foot long. This is to make it that much trickier coming down the stretch. It's a big, wide open backhand hyzer, but any shot that isn't absolutely pinned has got a good chance of rolling, and from there, you've got a tricky decision of whether you lay up or not.